Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to set up Stripe as a non-US founder and hit a wall? Maybe Stripe asked for a US business, a US bank account, a US address, and suddenly you're thinking, wait, am I even allowed to do this? Or worse, you try to piece something together and your account gets flagged or even shut down. Yeah, I see this happen all the time. Hi, my name is Bobby Casey. I'm the founder of businessanywhere.io. I'm an international tax lawyer, and for over 20 years, I've been helping entrepreneurs all over the world structure their businesses, set up payment systems, and operate globally without running into compliance issues. And today, I'm going to walk you through how to properly set up a US Stripe account as a non-resident founder. Not the workaround version, not the hack you saw on Reddit, but the correct way to do it, so you can actually build a stable business. All right, so first things first. Let's clear up a big misconception. You do not need to be a US citizen or even live in the US to have a US Stripe account. But you do need the right structure in place. And this is where most people go wrong. They try to sign up for Stripe first, instead of building the foundation that Stripe actually requires. So let's talk about that foundation. If you want a US Stripe account, the starting point is a US company. In most cases, that's going to be an LLC. And there are a few states that are particularly popular for this. Wyoming, Delaware, New Mexico. Now, why does this matter? Because Stripe isn't onboarding you as an individual. They're onboarding your business. So if your business doesn't exist in the US or isn't structured properly, you're going to run into issues. Now, once you have your US LLC set up, the next piece of the puzzle is a registered address. And this is something a lot of people misunderstand. You don't necessarily need a physical office, but you do need a legitimate US business address. This is typically handled through a registered agent service or a virtual address provider. And this is important, not just for Stripe, but for compliance in general, because your business needs to have a presence, at least on paper, in the US. All right, moving on. Now we get into something that trips up a lot of people. The US bank account. Stripe needs a bank account to deposit funds into. And this is where many non-residents get stuck, because opening a traditional US bank account remotely can be difficult. But the good news is there are fintech solutions that make this much easier. You can open a US business bank account online through certain providers without needing to physically be in the country. And once you have that, now you're starting to check all the boxes that Stripe is looking for. Now, before you rush off and sign up, there's one more critical piece you need to understand, and that's verification. Stripe is a regulated financial platform, so they're going to verify your identity, your business, and your activities. That means you need to provide accurate information. Your name, your ownership details, your business model. All of it needs to be consistent and legitimate, because if anything looks off, your account can get flagged, or worse, shut down. And once that happens, it can be very difficult to recover. Now let's talk about something I see way too often. People trying to game the system. They use fake addresses, they borrow someone else's details, they try to bypass the requirements, and look, it might work temporarily. But eventually, Stripe catches it. And when they do, your account is gone, funds can be frozen, and your business takes a hit. So this is one of those areas where doing it right from the beginning really matters. Now, once everything is set up properly, your LLC, your address, your bank account, then and only then should you apply for Stripe. At that point, the process becomes much smoother, because you're no longer trying to force your way in, you're actually meeting the requirements. And that's the difference between a stable account and one that constantly runs into issues. Now let's zoom out for a second. Why does all of this matter? Because Stripe is one of the most powerful tools you can have as an online business owner. It allows you to accept payments globally, integrate with platforms, scale your operations, but only if it's set up correctly. If not, it becomes a bottleneck or even a risk. So if we bring this all together, setting up a US Stripe account as a non-resident isn't complicated, but it does require the right steps. You need a US company, you need a proper address, you need a US bank account, and you need to provide accurate, verifiable information. If you do all of that, you can run a global business from anywhere in the world. And if you don't, you're going to keep running into the same problems over and over again. Rejected applications, frozen accounts, payment issues, and that's not where you want to be when you're trying to grow a business. And if you want help setting all of this up, That's exactly what we do. Through our digital Nomad kit, we help you register your US company, set up your address, open your bank account, and get everything structured properly from day one, so you don't have to guess and you don't have to fix problems later. You can find more information in the links below. Hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.